parable. And he saith unto them,
Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats.
And he said,
That which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and defile them.
and from thence he arose, and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into an house, and would have no man know it. But he could not be hid. For a certain woman, whose young daughter had an unclean spirit, heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said unto her,
Let the children first be filled. For he does not need to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs.
And she answered and said unto him,
Yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs.
And he said unto her,
For this
You got a
saying,
good point there.
Go thy way. The devil is gone out of thy daughter.
And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out, and her daughter laid upon the bed. And again, departing from the coasts of Tyre and Sidon, he came unto the sea of Galilee, through the midst of the coasts of Decapolis. And they bring unto him one that was deaf, and had an impediment in his speech. And they beseech him to put his hand upon him. And he took him aside from the multitude, and put his fingers into his ears, and he spit, and touched his tongue. And
Ew.
looking up to heaven, he sighed, and saith unto him,
Gross.
Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And straightway his
So he
ears
give him a
were
wet
opened,
willy?
and the string of his tongue was loosed, and he spake plain. And he charged them that they should tell no man. But the more he charged them, so much the more a great deal they published it, and were beyond measure astonished, saying,
He hath done all things well.
He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak.
Chapter 8.
Both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak.
Chapter 8.
He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak.
Chapter 8. In those days, the multitude being very great, and having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples unto him, and saith unto them,
I have compassion of the multitude, because they have now been with me 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way. For divers of them came from far.
And his disciples answered him.
From whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness?
And he asked them,
How many loaves have ye?
and they said,
7.
And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves, and gave thanks, and brake, and gave to his disciples to set before them. And they did set them before the people. And they had a few small fishes. And he blessed, and commanded to set them also before them. So they did eat, and were filled. And they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets. And they that had eaten were about 4,000. And he sent them away. And straightway he entered into a ship with his disciples, and came into the parts of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees came forth, and began to question with him, seeking of him a sign from heaven, tempting him. And he sighed deeply in his spirit, and saith,
Why doth this generation seek after a sign? Verily I say unto you, there shall no sign be given unto this generation.
And he left them, and entering into the ship again, departed to the other side. Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them more than 1 loaf. And he charged them, saying,
Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod.
And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread. And when Jesus knew it, he saith unto them,
Why reason ye, because ye have no bread? Perceive ye not yet, neither understand? Have ye your heart yet hardened? Having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not, and do ye not remember? When I brake the 5 loaves among 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up?
They say unto him,
12.
And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up?
And they said,
7.
And he said unto them,
How is it that ye do not understand?
And he cometh to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him
It's
to touch
frustrating,
him.
ain't it, Jesus?
And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up and said,
I see men as trees, walking.
After that he put his hands again upon his eyes, and made him look up. And he was restored, and saw every man clearly. And he sent him away to his house, saying, Neither go into the town, nor tell it to any in the town. And Jesus went out, and his disciples, into the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And by the way he asked his disciples, saying unto them,
Whom do men say that I am?
And they answered,
John the Baptist, but some say Elias, and others one of the prophets.
And he saith unto them,
But whom say ye?
And Peter answereth, and saith unto him,
Thou art the Christ.
And he charged them that they should tell no man of him. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders, and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And he spake that saying openly. And Peter took him, and began to rebuke him. But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying,
Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men.
And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them,
Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
And I heard the Lord say, well, what did he show you? And so I'm over there in the kitchen. This is just a few minutes ago, and I'm like, he showed me Bibles. He pulled out all those Bibles and the Gospel of Mark. And then all of a sudden, I hear in my spirit, look up the Gospel of Mark. Well, wait a minute. Mark's in the Bible, the Gospel of Mark. How weird that he had Bibles, Bible, you know, one book, two book, and then he pulls out a separate Gospel of Mark, all on its own. I looked at it. It was a whole book that said Gospel of Mark. Well, Mark is the second Gospel. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Let me show you the previous video real quick about my encounter with Frankie. And you can see in the video that I was just like, something's up. This is strange. Because then I'm going to drop the bomb on you. The Lord told me video real quick about my encounter with Frankie. And you can see in the video that I was just like, something's up. This is strange. Because then I'm going to drop the bomb on you. The Lord told me, well, this is strange. Because then I'm going to drop the bomb on you. I'm working 3 days on showing you all this mind-boggling data and supernatural revelation. The Lord told me before I do that on this video right now, first to give you a testimony about what I'm giving you a testimony on right now. So pay attention. It's good. It's good stuff. Okay, so here's the video I did on April 12th. So on April 11th, 4/11, right? On 4/11 is when I believe I met. I believe that's the day that I met Frankie. But let me just. Okay, look. Let me stop for a second. I believe because see, I believe I met Frankie on 4/11 because April 11th was 280 days since the skydive in Grand Junction. 280 days is the exact number of days it takes from conception to birth of a child.
And 290 would be tomorrow.
And so I met Frankie on that day. I woke up, I screenshotted
April 21st, Tuesday.
And then I ended
What'd you say about 9/11?
A guy on Broadway that was in
Broad Street? I was there.
From the, who screenshots their phone? Two phones, that twin phones that say 9/11. And that very same day, they're talking to someone that jumped from the 7th floor
And of the 8th.
of the Twin Towers on 9/11 and survived. That sounds a little strange. I was like, Thursday, April 9th, 9/11, and here's my other phone, 9/11, Thursday, April 9th. So these April 9th. So I got up in the morning. I photographed these two phones. They both said 9/11. Angel of the Bombless Bed. 9/11. Angel of the Bombless Bed. They had a king over them. The Angel of the Bottomless Pit.
The king's coming.
I left the house. I was driving. I called Kat. I said, Kat, would you look up 411 for me? The Lord is impressing upon me to look up 411. Kat says, yeah, it means Kat says, it means indescribable, like an unspeakable gift. And I was like, wow, that's really wild. So I was driving, and as I'm driving, I'm talking, I was going to get a coffee at this place called the Pearl, because you can still go in and get one and come out. And so I went up there and I went, oh, wow, I forgot my wallet and all. I had cash on me, but they wouldn't take cash. They won't take cash.
Not anymore.
And so I was like, oh, that's okay, whatever. So I pull out and I'm driving down Broadway and I
Broad
see
Street.
this guy in a wheel.